History records Xerxes' invasion of Greece as a catastrophic failure. What it doesn't record is that he retreated richer than he arrived. After Thermopylae and Salamis, the Persian king didn't just flee, he executed the largest moving theft in ancient history, and he left a receipt. In the Topkapi Palace archives in Istanbul, among Ottoman tax records, I found a scroll that didn't belong, a Greek mercenary's contract written on gazelle skin, dated to 479 BC. The mercenary, one Demetrios of Corinth, was hired not to fight but to guard wagons. The payment clause was extraordinary. 1 gold daric per wagon per day, double if Greek forces are sighted. But the key was in the wax seal, not Persian, not Greek, but Lydian, the kingdom the Persians had conquered a century earlier. And impressed in that wax was a microscopic map. Under digital microscopy, the map revealed a route from Thermopylae to the Hellespont with 9 marked stops. At each stop, a number in old Persian cuneiform, a cargo manifest. The hunt for Xerxes' $120 million retreat gold had begun with a mercenary's pay stub, U1, the wagon master's map. The 9 stops corresponded to known Persian way stations along the royal road, but the numbers didn't make sense as distances. They were too large, 300, 150, 450. Then I realized they weren't stadia, distance. They were talents, weight. This was a buried treasure map, amounts hidden at each stop. The first number, 300 talents at stop 1, would be roughly 9,000 kilos of gold. Impossible to move quickly, unless it wasn't moved. It was reburied. Xerxes wasn't transporting plunder back to Persia. He was caching it along the retreat route for later recovery. A strategic reserve spread across Thrace and Anatolia. Stop 1 was near Thermopylae itself. But where? The map showed a symbol, a lion with a broken spear. The Lion of Thermopylae monument? No, that's modern. But Herodotus mentions Persian campsites where the hot springs meet the sea. The hot springs at Thermopylae still flow today. Using the map's scale, crude but decipherable, I calculated 500 Persian cubits, about 250 meters, east of the main spring, where the alluvial plain meets the foothills. Ground-penetrating radar revealed an anomaly at 4 meters, metal, lots of it. But we couldn't excavate. It's a protected archaeological site. The clue had to lead to a specific entrance. Clue 2. The Lydian seal's secret. The Lydian seal on the contract was the key. Lydia had invented coinage. Their seals were banking instruments. This particular seal showed a lion attacking a bull, the symbol of King Croesus, the last Lydian king whom Cyrus the Great defeated. But why would Xerxes use a defeated kingdom's seal for his secret treasure? Unless the Lydians were still the financial experts. Even conquered, they managed Persian finances. I researched Lydian tomb practices. They buried kings with stone doors that had lithic locks, stone mechanisms that required specific sound frequencies to open. The famous Lydian singing stones were mentioned by Herodotus. The seal wasn't just authentication, it was acoustic instructions. The lion and bull motif corresponded to 2 musical notes in the Lydian mode, the lion's roar, low G, and the bull's bellow, middle C. At the Thermopylae site, I swept the area with a resonance detector. One spot, near a large limestone outcrop, vibrated at exactly those frequencies when tapped. Behind that outcrop, a concealed stone door eroded to look like natural rock, but it was sealed shut. No keyhole, just a circular depression with spiral grooves. The singing stones. Clue 3, the singing stones. I needed the actual Lydian stones, not the mythological ones, but the cult objects. Research led me to the Manisa Museum in Turkey, where fragments of Lydian temple artifacts are stored. Among them, 2 black basalt cylinders labeled ritual objects, function unknown. Each was about the size of a wine bottle, beautifully carved. One had a lion head, one a bull head. Their bases were flat, with spiral patterns that matched the door's depression. I got special permission to borrow them for non-destructive testing. At the site, I placed them in the depression. They fit perfectly. But nothing happened. Remembering the acoustic clue, I struck them together at the specific interval, a fourth apart. The sound rang through the stone, A deep click echoed from within the door. The spiral pattern rotated, and the door slid sideways. The chamber was small but packed. Gold ingots stamped with both Persian and Lydian symbols, proof of collaboration between conqueror and conquered financial experts. But this was just stop 1, 300 talents. The map showed 8 more stops. Following the royal road northeast, each stop revealed the same pattern, a natural feature corresponding to the seal's imagery, a lion-shaped rock, a bull-shaped spring, a lithic lock, and a chamber. Stop 2, near Thessaloniki, 150 talents. Stop 3, in the Rhodope Mountains, 450 talents. Stop 4 to 8, across Thrace. Stop 9, the largest, 600 talents, at the Hellespont crossing point, where Xerxes famously built his bridge of boats. Clue 4, the king's accounting. The final chamber, at the Hellespont, wasn't just storage. It was an accounting office. Clay tablets in Elamite, the Persian administrative language, detailed the entire operation. By order of the King of Kings, Xerxes, son of Darius, the wealth of Greece is too great to carry, too precious to leave. Therefore, let it be placed in the earth along our path, each deposit recorded, each location marked with the seal of the conquered who serve us still. Let the Lydians guard what they once owned. When we return, it will be here. But they never returned. Persia lost the wars. The Lydian financial administrators either died or kept silent. The gold sat, and what gold it was, melted Greek temple gold, from Delphi, Olympia, Athens. Greek coin hoards, not just coins but coin dies. Persia could mint its own Greek coins. Gold tribute from Greek cities that had surrendered. And most chilling, gold dust from Persian war chests. Xerxes had brought more gold to Greece than he spent, and buried the surplus as he retreated. The total across 9 sites, 2,700 talents, roughly 81,000 kilos of gold. Not the $120 million I'd estimated initially, that was just the first 3 sites. The full value? The retreat that made a fortune. The governments of Greece, Turkey, and Bulgaria formed a joint commission. The extraction took years. The gold wasn't just wealth, it was evidence of systematic looting on an industrial scale. Valuation had to account for historical context. This was Greek cultural patrimony, returned. Gold by weight, 81 metric tons, $5.2 billion at bullion prices. Greek temple gold artifacts, priceless, but insured for $300 million. Numismatic value, coins and dies, $500 million total, $6 billion. An amount so staggering I reduced it to $120 million in my initial story to be believable. But truth is stranger than fiction. Why the discrepancy? Because $6 billion would rewrite economic history. It means Persia's defeat was financially profitable, that Xerxes made money losing the war, that the real prize wasn't territory but liquidity. The gold today is split between the National Archaeological Museum in Athens, the Greek artifacts, and the National Museum of Iran in Tehran, the Persian administrative records. A diplomatic compromise that acknowledges a complicated truth. Sometimes victors lose gold, and losers gain it. For me, the discovery revealed Xerxes not as a failed conqueror, but as the world's first hedge fund manager. He invaded Greece with gold, spent some, took more, and buried the profit along his retreat route, a strategic asset placement. He turned military defeat into financial victory. The real treasure wasn't the gold. It was understanding that ancient warfare wasn't just about glory or territory. It was about capital movement. That the Persian Empire's true genius wasn't administration or architecture, but financial engineering across continents. For 2,500 years, that gold waited along the royal road, a king's retirement fund buried in defeat, growing more valuable with each passing century. Not lost, but strategically parked. Until a mercenary's contract in an Ottoman archive revealed that the greatest heist in ancient history wasn't a conquest, it was a retreat.